Yo, what is happening guys, Houndish here, and thank you very much for dropping by for another Matchtime episode playing the Destiny beta. And this is a player versus player gameplay from a couple of weeks ago in the Crucible. Had a pretty good one here with 21 kills ending with a 3.5 KD, so can't complain about this at all. But what I actually wanted to do is use this video as a talking point about some of the dreaded vehicles that we found in the moon map during the beta, one in particular being this Interceptor tank. So to get into this gameplay for the start, these guys head right round. I think they were planning on coming and spawn killing us, or maybe it was just random, but also they could have had some experience. But fortunately I'm doing a bit of damage and it starts to look a little bit bad for me there for a second, but I get some help from a teammate and we managed to take both the vehicles down. One of the Guardians has managed to kind of escape off into the distance here, but I spot him and he's down. So yeah, we had some really good teamwork, and likewise again this dude in the distance is running for the mounted machine gun, which I can't blame him, it makes total sense. If he'd been a little bit sooner he might have just took us out, but we had a good little unit there and he's down as well, and we're straight into zone C and neutralizing. So yeah, there's been a lot of mixed opinions about this vehicle. As you can see, I've just brutalized a good few people right there, and yeah, some people are saying that this is really unfair and not balanced at all, and then naturally you've got those groups of people who are saying, well, get good at the game bro, you suck, and all this kind of stuff. Now it's a lot more objective than that, and there's a lot more to talk about than that. Those are just the people that feel they're doing well and they're happy with the game that way, so they can kind of mouth off at other people, and that's kind of silly. So before we get into any other opinions about this, what I want to actually do is talk about the last things that Bungie said about balancing in this game. Now in terms of this vehicle, what they're actually gonna do, or what they said, I think they posted this blog pretty much the day that the beta closed, and what they're actually gonna do is, to start with, they're gonna reduce the rate of fire on this vehicle. So there's gonna be a little bit less opportunity to get easy kills. You're gonna have to time things a little bit better, a bit more focus, yeah, and it's kind of going to add a little bit more depth to that fight. And as well as that, they're actually going to reduce the damage and kind of spread that these cannons actually give out. So it's going to be a little bit harder again right there to actually do enough damage to kill people, and it's going to extend the kind of length of each little gunfight that you have with vehicles or Guardians alike, which I think is a good thing actually, because they're quite fast fights. You can take things down pretty rapidly, and I think it'll be good to be able to use a little bit of skill and kind of cross that over between skill and actually timing, so that people who are less skilled have actually got a better opportunity of using these vehicles and doing kind of well with them. So I think that is a really good thing, and it's going to be beneficial to the player versus player in this game and the retention of players in the long term. So another thing that Bungie did actually say they plan on doing is, instead of having two of these vehicles at the very beginning of the game, they're actually going to just put one Interceptor bang in the middle. Now there will be other types of vehicles like this one you can see right here. I'm not entirely sure what that one was called, sorry, but yeah, these vehicles are going to spawn much more regularly, but it's going to be down to both teams to fight to gain access to the actual Interceptor, which is in the middle of the map. And I think as people learn the maps and they know where these are, it'll become an engaging objective at the start of the game for particular people. So yeah, that is a really cool idea, and it's going to bring a little bit more depth to each game and each fight. But I do see one other potential problem with doing this. Now, people who really truly think that this is unfair and imbalanced, I think are actually potentially going to find this even worse, because when you have two of these vehicles at the start of the game, the maximum it's going to be is, you know, a couple of minutes before those vehicles have to engage each other. So they're going to be fighting each other, which is obviously a much more fair fight to begin with, but then also is kind of going to leave whoever survives is going to come out of it more damaged, and when he gets back to just fighting Guardians, they're going to have a little bit of a better chance and a better kind of engagement with that vehicle. So yeah, that's one thing that concerns me, is that if there's only one vehicle dead in the middle, whoever gets that vehicle is going to be able to smack other people pretty nicely, particularly if they're not kind of partied up and not communicating as a team and doing things like that. If they're more kind of average players, then yeah, I fear that this move won't actually necessarily help. But with that said, everything that we have seen in the beta and to do with balancing and the ideas with vehicles, it was just a beta. So I think people shouldn't get too hung up on it and not too opinionated about it yet, because Bungie have recognised what people have said and they've started to make moves towards improving it. And I think that that's the most important area is actually for more average players, and it is a retention thing. And what I mean by that is how long people continue to play the game and how long they find it fun and they're driven by their objectives within the game. And obviously the more playable it is and the more variety, kind of opportunity for different people to play and do well within the multiplayer is going to extend the life of the game a lot. So yeah, it's very important. And I really can't wait to see what they do. They have also mentioned they will be doing level-based matchmaking within lobbies. Now, this is a really great thing. When it works out, it is absolutely awesome. Obviously, we're hopeful that we don't get into any kind of matchmaking nightmares like we've seen in other games where you sit there for ages because it can't find the right people to match you with. But all of the kind of intentions and all of the ideas are good right now. So yeah, in the time that we had the beta, which was only a few days, it wasn't long enough necessarily for people who aren't used to games like this to kind of get their head around it. And one of the kind of aspects of that is level ups within weapons and armor. So your attack and defense stats are very important. They're going to be earned through both player versus player and general missions, using of your weapons and everything like that. So yeah, I think kind of don't draw too many conclusions from it yet. We've got a lot to learn as players, and Bungie have got a lot to learn as developers about this game. So yeah, I just wanted to bring you guys that news that they are actually focusing on it, have a little bit discussion about how powerful these vehicles are. But as you can see, pretty nice game. I used the Interceptor tank for quite a lot of it, experimented with attacking vehicles and players alike. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Sorry, I was going to say vehicle. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video and it's been useful for you guys. If you have, drop me a like and a comment down below. I appreciate it so much, and I will catch you guys next time. Take it easy and peace out.